um, is I actually was doing an experiment with my body. I don't like to waste food. So the rice was rotting. Actually, you could feel like a little bit like gooiness on the bottom. And it was smelling that too. And I'm like saying, oh, I hate throwing food. Like for me, that is one of my character defects because I grew up very, like I said, I have said many times that growing up poor, like, for some reason there is a piece in me that is very difficult for me to overcome that space where I don't want to waste the resources. And I also knew now I'm going to put fungus in my body. Like, it's like eating something not in harmony. So I said, okay, I'm going to take a chance. And I said, I'm going to eat it anyway. So I ate this pot of rice, which I shouldn't have done. So I said, let me work through understanding how it works. So rice has very high arsenic. And so for me, I have a tendency to react when I eat regular rice anyway, because I'm allergic to rice. But the arsenic usually, like, the water, when you overboil and the extra water comes out, if you throw it out, you can avoid some of the symptoms, and also you can wash it, but you really cannot take it out. You need to, after rice, eat either bentonite clay. And I didn't do that. I just wanted to watch from my body how it happens.
How old was it?
Probably two. See, it was in the fridge, 2 weeks old.
Ooh.
And I left it in a plastic. I think it was IKEA. They had a new storage box, and I think the combination of plastic and like being so it was smelling. So I knew for sure, like, it's. But one of the taste tests I do is, even if it's smelling, if I microwave it and if it tastes bitter, I wouldn't eat. But it was not bitter, so it was like in the brink of failing. I could see. But anyway, so I ate it, which, like, for me, I wanted to understand my body. Like, how do I, like, process things and stuff. So I did it like an experiment. I experiment with my body, so to speak. So, and usually, like, it becomes your tissue in 72 hours. Metabolism, it takes that. Initially, you react with the small intestine, large intestine, and stuff, and that's when you will get that inflammatory pain. So I worked through that. I knew exactly. The second day, I had to do modified citraspectin, which pulls all the arsenic and you can poke it out. So protease and modified citraspectin I did. And then on the third day, what happened was my left arm, the whole arm started aching. It was like such a deep tissue pain. And so it goes into the muscle. That's how I felt. And also the fascia. The fascia also was, like, achy. It's like almost it couldn't breathe, it felt like. So I did L-glutamine, magnesium orotate, because magnesium orotate is what the muscle needs for energy. Glutamine, it, for some reason, I felt that combination works very well for me for healing. And then I also added moringa seeds, because it actually, seed cake, heals the laminate, the basement membrane. So then the achiness persisted, so I switched it to moringa oil. So this became my combination: 1 gram L-glutamine, 1 gram magnesium orotate, and moringa oils, 2 capsules. I did with turmeric, castor, and moringa oils. That's my trivalent. And the pain went away. Like, I would say from severe scale, because I have a very high pain tolerance, so I can the majority of pain went away by protease chem detox itself, meaning like modified citraspectin. But then so let's say from 7 to 8 scale, it dropped to 5 to 6, and then from 5 to 6, it dropped to 2 to 3. But residual pain was still there. So then I worked through for 2 3 days, and then I did manual lymphatic drainage. That is, I did the ACE-RAP, because what happened is I had a thyroid surgery in the past. So when you have interference field, in addition to local tissue pain, you need to also clean the interference field. So I was doing turmeric oil massage. The pain goes away, but still that residual 2 to 3 persisted. Then I went and did a sauna, the hypothermic in high heat, infrared rays, the pain completely goes away. But then I was watching my teachers teaching. He says when you do healing, he says you transfer energies into your body. So some girl asked me to do a healing in the nursing home, and I used my hand to heal because I usually use my left hand to get in divine energy. But I think when I had my own pain, which I haven't processed, the pain came back. So then I had to remove like certain jewelry that will hold the pain. And that's why, like, some of them I took away, like, my silver jewelry and all I took away. And then when I healed, it went away. But interestingly, these are called downloads. When you have your hands, palm, and the soles are downloads. So that's how you release the toxin. So it completely went away, the pain. But when I did turmeric oils, the pain came back. I was thinking, what? Just like, it didn't make sense. But then it dawned on me the turmeric oils is a sealant, right? Like it allows you to gather energy. When I already had something I haven't processed properly, it sealed it for me. So then I had to go, and it was right here, deep in the bone, I have buried the pain. And that has the biomemory. So now I need to track to see where is this location for the brain. I haven't yet understood it, but that's what dreadlocks are for. Dreadlocks, the process we do it is to hold that biomemory, whatever we need to process. See, for me, it's also got spiritual significance. Forearm is like river-like energy. That's where the energy that comes from the hand starts. Because in India, it's clean hand, clean heart is the meditation I do. So when the energy starts flowing from the wrist onwards, it's called river. So the flow is very, very deep, so it's not like turbulent anymore. But in riverbed, if there is like how they say obstruction, the bank gets overflooded, right? So I need to understand where exactly is the obstruction. But forearm and arm, these areas are intimidation. So there is something that intimidates me. So I need to understand what is that I'm intimidated about. And now what is usually intimidation is fear-based decision. So I'm making some sort of a fear-based decision. So I need to go back. And because it's in the bones, so I could see like it is so deep, it's coming from my past life. So you could see, see how deep, because bone marrow is where we produce, right, the blood vessels. So it's that deep. I am like trying to create my life, and that is where I buried the intimidation. So where is it? So I need to go work on that. But the minute I labeled it, the pain went away. The minute I labeled it, but even, like when I talk about it, it comes back because it's like almost like it. I am creating it, by talking about it. So last week I started my dreadlock, and that's why we were talking about dreadlock. So each section has a memory buried, and I haven't understood it. If I had, so it is really awesome, like to figure out, see, right side is the future, so left side is our karma, our past. So I need to see, but because it's on the left side, I would think it is my, meaning my perception. That's where I have a problem. I'm perceiving it incorrectly with illusion, and it's an intimidation again. So I need to go back and say, okay, what is the perception level I'm burying, which will be on this side, right? Because left side is opposite brain. And I just don't know. My teacher says when you have issues in that dimension, it could also be visual. I have like a picture that is misconstrued. Like, let's say some people have fear of snake. So anything that looks like a rope would look like a snake. So it's like a perception on a false visualization. And that's intimidating me. So I'm trying to figure out where it is. But it's very interesting. I think the whole life, the process is very, very interesting. I'm working through it. I don't know what the right answer to be. Day before yesterday, my teacher, was it? I forgot, 13, he posted, like he usually, whatever he says, I try to do my best to achieve it. He posted a frame that said, be a saint. And I couldn't accept the challenge. I said, I cannot take it. But then I had a disagreement today morning with my husband. I think he perceives me totally different. So I really want to give myself a space to grow that space in me where I don't need to be entangled with them, but really pursue my path. So I stepped out. Actually, I told myself, I'm not going to go back tonight home. I left home very early today morning. And I don't know. I'm working on that process too. Like, not to be afraid to make changes in my life. If I have to be a saint, accept. So the first thing I did today was I changed my frame to accept my teacher's sainthood. But yesterday, right, my was Valentine's Day, and for some weird reason, I ended up not able to go to my regular sangha, and my center, which I am running as a divine play place, I ended up spending. So it almost looked like I spent my day at my teacher's place.
Mhm.
So that's the only Valentine I had, really. My husband didn't. I mean, he says all the nice things, but they don't acknowledge. My physical body is not needed. So last night, right, my son comes home. He was home late. He was in a meet. When he came home, he bought a DQ dinner, and he had chicken and French fries and all stuff. It was smelling really nice. So the human in me still wants to eat. Like I wish I didn't. I can get rid of all that desires, but so I was thinking, usually he never finishes his food. So I'm thinking I'll wait till he's done and maybe I'll ask him for a piece. After he finishes his dinner, I said, hey, can I have one of your, because he had a half a buck. He says, no, I'm going to have it for breakfast. He wouldn't share. And he says to me, I spent $12 for my dinner and it's my own money. And so he says, are you going to be okay with that? And I was thinking, I am okay with that, but like the thing that surprised me was me growing up very poor. My mom, even when we were poor, insisted on us sharing. There's no question you can eat when somebody is watching. They said. And so my teacher was doing a satsang yesterday. He says when you share food, it's giving life. When you don't share food, it's like your life also you cannot flow, right? You're stopping somebody's life. And he says to share food with beggars and saints. Okay. So I was thinking, where did I go wrong in raising these kids? Like all of them are so different from me, my eldest one. So I said, okay. So I said, I afterwards went into his bedroom and I said, it didn't so much bother me that you didn't share, but it just surprised me because what I have shared everything. My little boy, I did everything. Even now when I buy him some dinner. So where is it that space in him that allows him not to share? What did I do wrong? So, and then today morning, early morning, I was telling my husband, I said, hey, this is funny. This awakens that peace in me, that poverty. I had to watch people have like big, big meals and me. And that's a space I fall into, again, like when somebody, even though it is my own child, that didn't share. So then I decided, okay, I'll go watch because I wait till they get ready. So I come back and I'm telling my youngest one, I said, hey, you have food in the fridge still, remember? So my husband rolls his eye at me and then he says, your mom is activated because you didn't share your French fries. So I put in his English muffin anyway. And so I told him, don't you roll your eyes on me and don't project what I'm saying. I didn't even mean like bad thing. I'm just saying he's saving. So I want to make sure he eats his food. So my husband doesn't apologize for his behavior. He acts as though nothing happened. And my son, you know what he says even then? He says, I will have it for lunch. Don't worry. So it's so important for them to hold on to their food until it gets rotten. Then only they'll allow me to eat, right? It is the same with whatever my husband cooks too. I am sometimes when I go near, he will say, I smell or something like that. So I'm a bag of, that's the way I think of myself. I'm a bag of bad smells. And I'm only allowed rotten food. And when you eat rotten food, of course, you're going to smell even more bad, your microbiome. So I was thinking, oh my God, this is what my life is about. I'm like saying, so I told my husband, I said, I'm done. I said, I'm going to leave. And you know what? They just continued their conversation. I left at 6. He took my bag and I said, tonight I'm just going to go stay in some other place. I feel like, I put my life on pause for 20 years to raise these kids, my husband. They have money from me. They have everything from me. But for some reason, it's like, you shrink, 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 and finally you're nothing in their life. And it's okay for them. You could just be lost, and that's okay. And I'm saying, oh my God.
Age. I was
No, but the thing is, it's not even kids, it's my husband too. Because he's teaching them a certain thing.
Right.
So, how do you deal with that? For me, I'm going to take a spiritual break. I decided I'm not going to be part of this time. See, they have my money anyway. So, like, it's not like they're going to lose me. My physical body, I feel I can serve more people by really considering sainthood, because sainthood is not about losing family, it's expanding family. So I don't need to worry about really saving up for my family, but to do free care, I can do so many things. So that's where I'm at today. And I felt so grateful to start the dreadlocks, to start my spiritual process, to because it's so painful. It's so painful, and I feel I don't need this pain. It's like I love my husband so much. I love my kids. It's okay. I can love them from further instead of like putting my heart on line, and it's so hurtful.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. No, I think I agree. I mean, what's your other option?
No, my other option is I see, for me, being humbled is not a big deal. I can go evening and say, hey, my husband will, the way he will act today evening when I go back, he'll graciously take me back. He says, I know you may not healthy enough in the morning to handle the challenges, but welcome back to the family anyway. So he'll be boss again. And he told me this year to give up everything spiritual, and he's going to be the spiritual man, and I'm going to only focus on raising the family. So he's going to teach me how to be a better mother to my children and stuff. So I would have to take that role again. And I'm like thinking that's a role I played for 20 years. And I feel if I'm going to teach my son that not sharing and saying that he earned it is fine, I feel it's not about my husband anymore. It's about my children. And I feel I don't want that value for them. If by chance it's so important for you to store your food for 3 days and after it go out and give it to your mother to eat, I can might as well come and pick it up 3 days later, keep giving me your rotten food,
Yeah, no.
So that's what I'm gonna do. I really want to step back today. I actually conveniently forgot my phones at home. So I'm recording this because I feel it will be part of my history. Because but the amazing part is this intimidation, it's happening in energy even before. So, but I think my middle one, same way, he has cough, he has this biofilm, but they don't want to listen to me. I know how to heal them, but they want nothing to do with me. And my eldest one, my husband has a certain criteria how he treats him, and I want to balance that. But I feel like I have done my best. And my youngest one is turning 15 this year. In India, until 14, you're physically, as a mother, you have to be there for them. And I feel next to 7 years, emotionally, I need to be there for them. And emotionally, I'll be there until they turn, the youngest one turns 21, which will be another 7 years. But I really feel I'm not needed, physically. I can do anything I need to do via internet. So it's a beautiful place to be. So what are you working on this week? You said you were also having some hand pain because you were moving something.
Yes.
Which
I got
hand?
stuck in the door.
Which hand?
Crushed the left.
Left side. So you're doing same thing like me. And where exactly are you hurting?
in the same area.
Isn't that
Forearm,
amazing?
Yeah, from the elbow down to the forearm. Yeah.
But that's from external environment. For you, for me, it is internal.
Yeah.
So maybe we are all processing the
Yeah.
same energy area. I just have to work through and see. So for you, what does it mean emotionally?
Um,
Where were you at that space in IKEA?
Getting into the elevator.
No, but like
Oh,
emotionally.
all over the place. I was like my son was out of control. He was running all over the place. I was very chaotic.
So you couldn't control your
No.
environment.
No.
So remember, see how this is a funny
Mhm.
bone? The funny
Mhm.
bone is like, it gives
Mhm.
you the intense pain to focus. So what were you not focusing?
It had just been a long day. We had moved a lot of furniture. We had already gotten things in the car. There were long lines. So it was just, I had just kind of hit the end of my rope. So I was just sort of frantically trying to move around, get things done, wanted to get in the store quickly. I was rushing. Everything was like a rush.
So let's get back to, if even if you have not been hurt, what is the outcome you wanted that day? To get control of your environment? Like what exactly was the outcome you're looking for?
When I went there, more just get things to organize home.
So you were in a chaos, not
Yeah.
organized. That's very interesting, right? Knowing that that part is intimidation.
Mhm.
Oh, actually, I shouldn't really call it intimidation. It's mastery. See, the positive way to say it is getting mastery of the
Mhm.
situation. So you couldn't master, like essentially,
Yeah.
like contact. The reason for the mastery not being achieved is intimidation. Because see, like that's why like we fold our hands and stand. Because when elders are there, they are the masters, and you fold your hands, right? So that's why we close this because we don't want to be intimidated. So the like how mastery is like a positive way of viewing the acceptance ways, because one is like doing something, one is accepting ways not to be intimidated. So I was working at it at the intimidation level. You're working at a mastery, right? It's very interesting.
Mm.
Our paths are crossing.
Yeah. It's neat.
So it's interesting. I'll keep you guys posted, but I don't know what's happening with